Girl, bye. Shut up. I know you lying. Wait. What? Say what now? Ain't no way. It's just not giving what it was supposed to have gave. My man. Yes, honey. You're giving me life. Oh, you did that. What's happening, good people? It's your girl, Ms.Kecia, with a little chat and chew. I am so excited for tonight, but I'm here to tell you tonight is going to be a remix. Turn it around, DJ. So we're going to do something a little different. All right, so before we get started, let me do my disclaimer that all thoughts and opinions and ideas that are shared on this platform of those of myself and my guests. It is not for intention of to sway anybody to think as we think, so we are politely will agree to disagree in that matter. But we do hope that something is said that will enlighten you or bring peace, happiness, and joy to you. So having said that, I hope you good people are doing well out there. It has been one heck of a week. You heard me? Let me tell you. So, this month we was doing the battle of the eras, right? So having conversation with the baby boomers, the millenniums, the Generation X, and then the millenniums. After my conversation with the millenniums, I had so many great conversations with people that had watched the episode, had some ideas, things that were said that made them think about different things. We had great dialogue. I had great dialogue with my esthetician, it was kind of weird, but it's whatever. So I would like to say on my behalf, because I'm the host, I think the millenniums got it. And this is why I would tell you that I think the millenniums took it. The millenniums are in a pivotal point in history. The millenniums they have, fortunately and unfortunately, we just got to be honest, and this is my truth. Fortunately and unfortunately, they have so many things that were pushed down on them. The good thing about the millennials is they are a group of young people who are willing to ask the whys, the how comes, the why we're doing it this way, why not change it. They're willing to go into change. They're willing to uncover new opportunities, new thought patterns. And I think that is phenomenal. So after having all these conversations, that's why I say the millenniums are at a pivot. They are the pivot in history. They really, really are. Because when you think about it, I'll be 48 this year, right? So I'm close to 50. So that's a half a century. So when I turn 50, my kids will be around about 28, 27, 28, 28, 29, somewhere around there. So they'll be at that pivotal point in their life, which is the age of 30. That's when it really starts to happen for us, is at 30. So we were coming up during that, our generation, our century, half a century. So now they're getting ready to turn it all around. They're the ones building cars that's going to fly. They're the ones building electric cars. They're the ones coming up with all these different apps and easier ways for us to do things systematically. They're the ones out here, building the community, at least trying to get into places and different jobs and positions to build our community up. They're the ones kicking in doors now. So it is my opinion that the millenniums are the pivotal point in our history. So everything from, this point on is what's really being built by the millenniums. So what we need to do is to continue to support them, to continue to pour positivity into them, continue to be that sounding board for them, because now is the time where Generation X is getting ready to become the big mamas, the grandmamas and the grandpapas. And we're the ones they're going to be coming to for Sunday dinners. And when they have a bad day, they call us on the phone for advice, or not even for advice. What I've learned is sometimes they just want us to listen. They just need a sounding board. So we need to understand what our role is now, because the baby boomers and beyond were that for us. But now we're transitioning to be those people for them. So I think it's very important that we support them and we pour positivity in them, not take things, that were done, from, well, that's the way grandma did it, and that's the way my mama did it. And so let's not do that. Let's try to be cognizant of what we say and what we do, because we want to build healthy relationships, healthy mindsets, healthy careers. We want them to think aggressively, but at the same time, we want them to be able to stand on their feet and to not be afraid to speak up, not be afraid to go against the grain. So those things are important. So for that, I say the Millenniums get it. So let's give the Millenniums a hand. A round of applause. Woo! So I said tonight was going to be a little remix. The DJ took it back for us. Now, I don't know if all of you were paying attention, but did you realize that certain things were common throughout each generation? Baby boomers, they talked about mental health. They talked about how the things that were happening in that time affected the way they think, the way they thought, the things that they did, where they could go, who they were going to be. The Generation X talked about the same thing. We was always taught, one thing that sticks out to me, we was taught, you don't go outside of this house and tell anybody what's going on. Same kind of concept, the way we were raised, what we was raised to do, and how that carried on. The Millenniums was the one who said, hey, I think if I could change anything, I would have preferred that not to happen. I would have preferred that one quality not to be passed down. So tonight, we're going to talk about how mental health, in support of April being Mental Health Month. So tonight, I got to thinking last night, like, man, ever since we had that conversation with my kids, I'm just thinking like, I wish, you always wish you could have did something different after the fact, But then I had a conversation with my esthetician, and me and Toki was talking about the fact that, from her perspective, because her mother is a Generation X. And Toki felt like, in her opinion, was that we screwed them up. She basically felt like, because we took on so much from the baby boomers and we tried to push it onto them, and we didn't give them the opportunity to, really enjoy, because basically the way her mother raised her was probably different than the way that I raised my kids. And that's probably the same throughout a lot of homes because of our backgrounds and, just a number of things. But in her opinion, so she felt like she didn't have a complete sense of, responsibility, or, the secrets, and, don't say nothing and don't speak up, and those things that affected, their mental health, the way that they thought, and the things that they did. So it was really, really troubling my soul how mental health is such a stronghold when it comes to us just being great, us just being able to move into our purpose, and us just accepting who we are, what we feel, and allow to feel how we feel. Because I think that for us, Generation X and beyond, we were always taught that certain feelings aren't acceptable, so you don't talk about it. But what I've learned throughout my older years and taking control of my own mental health is it's okay to feel what you feel. It's okay to express or to release an experience so that it doesn't have an effect on you. And in order for you to release an experience, you have to be able to confront that experience. And in order for you to be able to confront that experience, you have to have support in places that makes you feel safe to confront that experience. So once you release, that experience is behind you. So I got on the phone and I called my BFF today. And I was like, hey girl, what you doing? Because I just wanted to have a dialogue with someone that I knew would be transparent, and someone I know, you know, has the same feelings and a lot of the same experiences that I have, and is well versed on the topic. And I would say we are well versed because of our backgrounds and the jobs that we have, because we saw a lot of different people in the military, especially being a leader in the military. You see a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds. You meet a lot of different people with a lot of different beliefs. And as a leader or anybody in the military, you are taught to take on the norms and the value of that branch that you're in. So that is your priority. That makes us all one. You don't see color, you don't see race, you don't see sex. You see a uniform. You see the person in the uniform, your brother or sister in arms. But you still have to be able to deal with the fact that that person, just like you, still have their norms and beliefs that they came from back at home, from within their family, their nucleus. So I am here to introduce to you all my one of my BFFs, Miss Shirley Burton. Say hi to the people, boo.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, so like I was telling Shirley when I was, talking to her earlier, like after the conversation I had with the kids and then the conversation that I had with Toki, like it really got me thinking, like, you know, people don't just wake up with mental health problems. People don't just wake up depressed. People don't, you're not born depressed. You're not born, you know, suicidal. You're not born with anxiety. I feel like that a seed is planted that creates that emotion in you. And when I say a seed, it could be an experience, it could be, you know, just something that you saw, something that happened to you. But whatever the
Significant
case
event.
is, it's not something that is natural within us. That's something that's planted within us. So I think, a lot of times when we come back from the generation of, you don't tell what that's what creates the, you know, when it leads to suicide, or which leads to outbursts, or which leads to anger, all these different actions is because people keep it balled up inside because they feel like they can't really express how they feel and they can't be their true authentic self because people are not going to accept them because of how they really feel. So, what do you
Yes.
have to add to that, Shirley?
I think you're right. I think most definitely that you're right. It does take a significant event, you know, something occurs, and I think there's different levels to it, because going in life, you're going to come to those things as children. Everyone has went through something, seen something.
Mhm.
So maybe that wasn't, the trigger. Okay, so for me, we went through life, made it through, we grown now. Okay, we deployed that first time. Ooh, okay, that's another trigger, and this continues to happen until you have that mental break.
Right.
And like
Because you keep those things
you're
inside.
keeping them inside. You don't tell nobody how you're feeling. You don't tell, you just keep it to yourself, and you don't want to talk about it.
Right.
You don't know how to feel yourself.
Right.
So having those people around you is the most important thing. And even still to this day, I've been out of the military for some time. I've been an adult. I'm up there. I'm up there. But however, I am just now learning how to open up.
Hmm.
How to tell people what I'm feeling.
Right.
How to tell people that I'm hurting inside,
Right.
or
Right.
that I'm going through something. So
Right.
mental health is not a game, it's not a joke. And those individuals who are still out there and don't believe that it's real or it hasn't happened to you,
Right.
you know,
They're just suffering in
just suffering in
silence.
silence.
Yeah.
Yes, talk to someone, open up. Now that I'm older, I tell you exactly how I feel, what I'm feeling.
Right. Right. And that goes back to, like I was telling you, I was looking at the statistics
Mm,
from 2019, 2020, right? And I mean, we all know that we was in the middle of a pandemic, but yes, the pandemic put us all in our homes for a significant amount of time. But also the thing that the pandemic did was put us alone with our feelings, put us alone with our thoughts. So can you imagine someone who's already suffering in silence and now they're left with just those thoughts in themselves? So
right.
in 2020, right? Suicide was 12th for causes of death. There was 46,000 people Americans who died by suicide. There was an estimate of 1.2 million attempted suicides in 2020.
Mm,
And I just feel like, that's astounding
yeah.
that someone has all that all bottled up and they don't feel like they could express, or they don't know how to express to get all those, that hurt, those demons out, whatever it is, to the point where they feel like they want to hurt themselves. And I know a lot of people, especially men, feel like, a man is not supposed to, we tough, we don't feel like that, we don't we no, it's okay. It's really okay. Like, I promise it is
Me.
okay. You're gonna be okay. One thing, and my therapist says it all the time, but when it really started to stick, when my kids said it to me. I was feeling depressed this past weekend, and just different things happening, because like I was telling Shirley today, people think like, oh, it's that commercial. You ever seen that commercial where call such and such and we'll assign you a therapist? When say, people don't understand when you're depressed and you're feeling sad, what they say can really be harmful. Like,
Mm.
oh, you're gonna be okay. Oh, it's not really that bad. Like
Or
like yeah,
just completely forget
like
what you said until,
don't dismiss somebody's inner feelings, because
mm,
you could be the one that tipped the poor person over the edge. But I believe that anxiety, depression, all of that is, it's like being an addict. Like they say, once an addict, always an addict. You may be in recovery and you may no longer use, but you're still an addict. And it's the same thing with depression and anxiety. It doesn't go away. You just learn techniques and
mm,
tools to deal with it,
yes, yes,
Like, yeah, that's all it is. You can love yourself to the highest, but sometimes some things are going to get you down. And
yeah,
it's okay.
it's inevitable.
Yes, it's okay. And what my daughter told me now, it's crazy. I hope she's not watching this. But my therapist told me before, but what my daughter told me this past weekend, and it just, like it gave me a little bit of life to say, okay, tomorrow when I wake up, I'm going to get myself up and I'm going to walk in my purpose. Like, I'm not going to allow myself to feel this way. It's because she said, it's okay to feel how you feel, mama.
Mm.
She said, just feel it. Just feel it and let the feeling pass and then move on to the next thing. And I was just like, that to me, that was astounding because that's really the thing. You don't want to feel the negative feeling. So you like bottling it all up. And all you really doing is like making a can of, like a can of biscuits in there. And you just wait for somebody to, and then the doggone biscuits pop out. So I think that's what we need to encourage people to do.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel what you feel. It's okay to feel what you feel. It's okay to have a bad day.
Hmm.
Now, it is not okay to stay there. Now, sometimes you feel like you can't
And
get.
I wouldn't say that. Sometimes it's okay to stay there for a little while. You're gonna stay there 1 to 2 days. Okay, got it.
Okay,
But you
got you.
cannot get comfortable there.
Right, right. Not to
Sometimes
the
you
point
have to
where.
take that time when you're depressed to self-reflect. you
Right.
know
Yeah,
that's really
I
when
agree.
you start to thinking, and start to you go into what you do know. For me, I go into praying a little bit more. I
Mhm.
want to know. Um and it comes to that point to where you say, okay, well, you know what, it's happened. I don't know what to do. I got to get up.
Right,
Now I need to call. Let me call Keisha.
right,
you
right,
know
right.
Even if I don't tell you what's going on.
Yeah,
you
let
know
me use my techniques. Let
yeah,
me you plug into,
yeah.
plug into my circle.
Yeah.
My
And know that nobody's exempt from this. I think then that's a big thing. It's a stereotype that,
Mhm.
people think, well, this person is not going through it. No, 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 no. Don't ever think that someone is not going through something. And it may not be the same as yours, but
Right,
most definitely someone has felt or been where you are.
right. Absolutely. And another thing that I found very, very interesting, and I didn't know this, because when you hear about death and suicide, and you know, I know I immediately think about our community. I immediately think about that. But you know what? To say we have other things now, we have other things going on. But
Mhm.
when it comes to mental health, I think because of the old people ways, you
Mm.
know, part of our generation has learned how to deal with it that way. And so they become functional in it, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Because do you realize that most suicides happen in the Midwest amongst Caucasian people? Yeah, I didn't know that. The a- area with the least amount of suicides is more of the areas where there is more, um, like
Population.
New Jersey, New York.
Where the population is
Yeah, the
busy, busy.
more the bigger cities, northeastern area. I found that interesting. Then the next least would be like coming down from northeast, um, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas. You get into the higher percentages when you start looking at West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arizona, Missouri, Indiana, Kansas, South Dakota, North Dakota. And California is actually one of the least. So I think is more highly populated cities
Hmm.
has a lower and you really wouldn't think that. At least I did. It surprised me. I didn't think that. So that was interesting to know too that and that's for 2020 during the pandemic. Yeah. So and then the other thing with the suicides, and I think this is significant, is um, during the pandemic, during 2020, um, the age group, it was like 85 and above, the older people. Like we got to take care take
Mm.
care of our our
Seniors.
elderly.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was, propaganda. They like, when they was talking about the nurses home and people would just be leaving their family in the nursing home during the pandemic. And I mean, I granted they couldn't really go see their families or whatever, but that just makes me think like, I know I always be pregnant to put my mom in a senior assisted living home, but I don't think I'll man that. I don't want to jump off. But like that was significant to me. And again, um, the suicide rate is high amongst men. Um, yeah, it's crazy, and so I just think that we just need to make it like depression. 19% of the population, every 100,000 person, like
Mhm.
19% is deals with depression. Excessive drinking, 17.6%. Um, and obviously, depression leads to other things: drug use, excessive alcohol use,
Yes.
street drugs, suicide, all these different things. So, and I just think we really need to make it a norm, and it's okay to feel what you feel and say what you feel.
Mhm.
It's okay to have, to feel how you feel. If you feel hurt, it's okay to feel hurt about a situation.
Mhm.
Don't let someone tell you that, oh, you should be over that. Oh, forget that. And it's not that bad. If
Yes.
it's that bad for you, God damn it, say it's that bad.
It's that bad. Yes, most definitely.
It's that
Always.
bad for me. I feel like shit today. Today was a horrible day, and
Mhm.
everybody has triggers. Everybody has triggers. And I will just, express my experiences, because I do deal with depression. There are certain things that can really just spin me emotionally out of control, to the point that I'm dealing with depression. And I thank God for friends who can see, something's not right with her. Let me check in with her. You know what I'm saying? Let me, something I might have said, something I might have posted on social media, or just me being on their mind. Sis, I'm checking in with you. You all right? No, today's not a good day. I'm not feeling good. And a lot of times they don't ask, well, what's wrong? We got this. I'm gonna pray for you. You need me to bring you something to eat? You want to go out? You want to do this? What do you need from me? What can I do for you? You just need to be available, so they can feel safe at that moment. Because that's all we really want. All you want is to feel like somebody understands what you're going through, and they love you in spite of, because you don't want to feel like you're a burden to anybody, or
Mhm.
you're weak, or that you're not a strong person, or you don't have a strong mind, or you don't love yourself, because you're allowing yourself to feel those emotions.
Exactly.
How I have a friend, one of my best friends, she's still struggling with the death of her mother, and that's
Mhm.
okay. Nobody is here. And if I was to find out somebody told her, oh, you should be fine, yeah, I'm on first thing
Wow.
smoking. You know what I'm saying? I'm on first thing smoking. You don't do that. You
That's
you
right.
you have your time. You do what you need to do to feel those emotions. If
Mhm.
we ride
They
it
can
down
deal
the
with
road and we talking about a conversation that triggers you, because it happens. Riding down the road, we was having a conversation. It triggered her. She started crying. I was there for her. And all I did was be silent and let her have her moment,
it. Mhm.
because I understand. I understand now. I can't say that the old me would have did that. Me 10 years ago. I can't say. I mean, I'm just
You
being
would have. You
honest.
would have. Look,
I
you
mean,
would have. You've
I
always been there for me.
told you to
You would
just
have.
suck it up a little bit. Like, what the hell you crying for? Like, what's the matter? Yeah, I would have
Mhm.
said that, you know it.
You
But
just said that.
now where I am, and it took, like you said, it took a significant emotional event for me to understand,
Mhm.
okay, it's okay to feel these emotions, because not allowing myself to feel put me in a really bad space. I don't want to be there no more. So let me feel these emotions. And then what do you do with things that trigger you? You know, you need to identify, okay, this is a trigger for me. If somebody says this, don't go off on that person because that person may not intentionally be trying to trigger you. You know, just separate yourself for a minute. Let them know I just need a few minutes or whatever you have to do to peacefully separate from whatever is triggering you so that you can have that moment and bring yourself back to, okay, here we are. It is, I'm going to be all right. Let me feel the motion. Let me feel what I feel, and then we'll go from there. But there are things that trigger me. Yes, there are things that trigger me because there are still things undone, or it was something that hurt me. You know, I wouldn't say there are things undone because I personally try not to leave nothing undone because you know where that leads to. So I try to be present in all situations, but there are things that trigger me. And for me, I have to separate myself and have my moment, you know, and that's okay. And you have to be okay. Don't be the one that's like, and I used to tell y'all this too. I say, what's wrong? Nothing. You know damn well something is wrong. Just tell me, I don't want to talk about it right now. I'm feeling what I'm feeling. Let me just, when I'm ready, I'll come to you. You know what I'm saying? Just let the person feel safe enough to say that to you without you being all extra. Let the person have the feeling. Let them feel what they feel. You know, let them feel what they feel. And I was always big on that. Don't tell me nothing when it's I clearly see something is wrong. So I don't do that no more. Mic check. Is your mic off? Oh,
Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
okay. We
So
had
yes, like I said, you have to be able to allow that person to process what's going on.
yeah.
And as the person who's receiving this, it also lets you know what state of mind this person is in.
Right. That
Okay,
too.
maybe I need to back up.
Right.
Maybe you don't want to hear about the light bill right now. Let me just
Right.
let that go. So you take those signs, and not just with your friends, but you can be that influence just normal people on the street. And it was simple because I was taking a class, and we discussed why people don't just say good morning. You can clearly walk past 10 people and no one will say anything, but it just good morning to someone or how you doing, or it's a beautiful day, can totally change someone's mindset
Change it.
to where maybe they're in a better mood. So we have to pass that along, across the board. I try to be a positive influence wherever I go.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's a bad day, that's me just walking by, but I expect or hope that someone would say, you know what, Shirley, how are you doing today?
Right. Right. Right.
So
Right.
we have to let it go, and try to be as polite and nice as possible. That's it.
And you hear a lot of people because I know, with me being from the South and me being up here,
Mhm.
I just have this. I mean, it's just something in us. I don't know why we speak to everybody. I don't know, but we do. I mean, we speak to everybody.
That's
Like,
how it is.
and I don't care where I am. I'm going to speak to somebody that's in close proximity to me. I may have a full fledged
No matter where we go.
with you. And that's just I just attract people like that. People feel comfortable to talk to me.
Mhm.
And I see that as a good thing because just like you said, you could really change the impact of the next thing that happens in
That
someone's
happens.
life
That's right.
just by saying good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hmm.
Good
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
Because I used to tell my kids or my soldiers, anybody, well, why are you so angry this morning? The only person you had contact with was God because he woke you up. So what is you mad with him? And sometimes the reality is they very well may be. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. That's
They
right.
very
Hey.
well may be. But you showing kindness, you know, may change that whatever that plan was for the
For that day.
next step, at work. Your coworker may be ready to go in there and slap the supervisor.
Mm.
You just walk in and be like, "Hey, darling, how are you?"
Yeah.
Change your whole demeanor. Change
That's
that
right.
person's whole demeanor. So I just think that um it is up to us. We're our generation is now, we're in the seat, we hold the power. Granny does not hold the power no more. All right, Granny
No,
does no longer wear the panties. Okay,
she's
now
retired. She's retired. We got to pick it up
we
and keep
are the big
moving.
mamas, we are the Medias.
Yes, yes.
So we
So
just
what do we do? What do we do?
so
What do we
what
do?
what do we do? It's time for us to make the changes.
Mhm.
It's time for, because the crazy thing is, me and my cousins was talking about that when I was up in New York. I forgot one time or another, and we were saying that how watching our kids, they're so separate. When we were like this, it's
Yeah.
like you can walk past your cousin and not even know that's your cousin.
That's it.
Junior. You don't remember Junior? Y'all used to play in the park together, play in the dirt together.
No,
Because
I ain't seen Junior since we
yeah,
was
because
three.
the times have changed, and we unfortunately we didn't do our part to instill that into our kids, give them that opportunity to spend with their families, know their families. So
But
you
see,
know,
I don't, I wouldn't necessarily say that falls on us. You
well,
know, I have to say that falls on our mothers, because we were close, but
Mhm.
where did they? I guess that foundation to make us come together.
Right.
You know, where was those family meals where everybody had, you had to go to Big Mama house on Sunday.
Right. That's what I'm
You know,
saying. We need to take on that now, because by us not doing those things that our parents did with us, did walking past the cousin and don't even know it's the cousin, you know? It's not even knowing. Or you out there being mean to somebody, and that's your cousin.
yeah,
Don't treat Junebug like that. That's your cousin. But it's just, what do we do from here? What I know for me, I can speak for myself. One thing that I always did with my kids, because I'm an only child, so I didn't have no brothers and sisters. Okay, they didn't have no aunties and no uncles. They had a whole bunch of military aunties and uncles.
yes,
So, like when you would come visit, anybody come visit, we always, we sit down to the table and eat as
Mhm.
a family. We take trips together. I always wanted to, do family things and teach my kids that family is important.
That is true.
And I mean, it's an unfortunate thing that the military took me so far away from um, our family that,
Hmm.
my kids didn't really, they had those experiences, but those experiences within the military community, and it was different within the military. Kids are different.
Yeah, yeah.
They ain't the same like regular, project kids. They ain't the same. It's not the same. It's not the same, baby. It's not the same. My poor kids
True,
went
you
through a
told it.
culture shock when they went to
When
public
they came,
school.
oh,
It was like, what? You want me to go where and
it's like
how
what?
and do what with who?
What?
So I think that's important that we, and I think sometimes, I mean, because I get wrapped up in it too. Like, I'm a grandma, yeah, but I'm out here doing my thing, living my life. But you gotta kind of wheel it back in sometime, because you gotta think about, what are you really, what are you really showing your grandbaby? I mean,
Oh, what are you showing your grandbaby?
I mean, I know, because let Journey tell it,
What
I
you
told her
doing?
how to pose in Maryland. But I did more to teach Journey how to pose,
Yeah,
okay?
I think
Uh, but
we have to
I'm
consciously make
serious.
those
Like,
changes.
me and Dominica so far away right now. Journey's my only grandchild, but me and Dominica so far away. So I put a lot of miles in to make sure for those pertinent, those big significant moments in her life, she
Hmm.
knows her grandma is there. I'm there. Holidays, I'm there. Birthdays, I'm there, because I want her to understand that family is important.
Yes.
And And I just think we need to step up to the plate. We
We do.
can't be
We
looking,
definitely do.
because when you let's take my mother's, all I think all my mother's siblings are um they crossed over the pearly
They-
gates.
they-
Yeah, I think all my mother's siblings. But you see what I'm saying?
yeah,
How
got
many
you.
of us, our mothers, our cousins' mothers, all they, some of them just the last one hanging
They're the
on
last one, and they're
by a
older in age. They can't
thread.
move and do what
So
we can.
we gonna wait until it ain't no more of them to say, okay, where we have family dinner at for Thanksgiving this year,
Yeah, yeah.
or we just not gonna get together no more. Like, come on now, like. I just think our Generation X, I think we need to step up more. We need to be more involved. The same thing, we're in the community. We need to be more involved, because I feel like, because I know with my kids, especially now, they probably would never admit it, but as adults, they do a lot of things that they used to see me do. They do a lot of things that they used to see me do. The way that they keep house. Because before, I
Yeah.
couldn't get them jokers to keep clean for nothing. Now my son, he got his sneakers laid out and everything's so pristine, and he got to smell good and look good. Before, I'm like, why do you smell like old dirty tennis shoes? Like, god dang. But you see what I'm saying? They mimic a lot of the positive things that they see us do. So, like, I know I like to volunteer. My daughter
Mm-hmm.
sees that. My daughter has a huge heart. Now, she might not be out there volunteering much, but
Just yet.
she has a huge heart, and she's very giving. She will give you the shirt off her back. You know what I mean? Like, and she has a hustler spirit. Like, if she had to go through something and that seed was planted, she
Yes.
went through her time, and
Yes.
now she is like, I'm getting after it. She has a hustler spirit. So it's like, you think they're not looking, but they looking. So,
They see you.
right, we want to
They see
show
you.
them, okay, we got y'all back. We still here. We still turning up now. Don't get it twisted. We still
There you
getting
go. There
in.
you go.
But Sunday dinner, I got that
You
mac and
still,
cheese in the oven. You know
hey,
what I'm
I
saying?
still know how to cook.
You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
please be there.
I mean, I might not be cooking no mac and cheese, but
See, that's where we got to go back to
I'm
that
just
home cooking,
saying,
because once again, and
I
this
might
might
make
be
a green salad or something like
no,
that.
no.
But
See, you got to
I
think about that
mean,
too. Those are the things we're not passing down either.
yeah, I get
We
you, but
ain't passing down. We ain't
well,
passing down how to make that
I just don't
homemade
want no
gravy.
heart disease. I mean,
Well,
we ain't got to pass down heart disease.
good point. Very
We
good
ain't got to
point.
pass down diabetes. I mean, dang. Then you be
But
depressed,
we can do it a little bit
my
better.
sugar acting up.
Non-fat milk. I mean, yeah,
So I'm
3
saying,
cheese instead of 7.
yeah, we might have a green salad or something like that,
There you
some
go.
chicken breasts or something
Okay.
like that, salmon or something.
I will not be
But
there.
I just think we need to stop looking at focusing on what's wrong, be more and more
Supportive.
opportunity to say, what can I do to affect change, versus saying, this is wrong, that is wrong, this is wrong, that is wrong, they this, they that, they ours. So we can say they are what they are, but they're ours.
All you can
These are
do is,
our
yeah,
kids.
exactly.
These are what we produced.
Yep. That's it.
You got to think about it. Teachers spent, which is going to be for next month, we're going to highlight educators, because educators are probably the most underpaid, the most overlooked. Anybody that take care of kids, they're the most underpaid, the most overlooked, the most appreciated person
That is
in the
true.
dang on world.
It is true.
And
They spend more time with our children than we do.
yeah, they spend more time with the kids than we do.
That is true.
So it's like, whether you want to believe it or not, they're taking on some of the attributes of those people too.
That is true.
They really are. They're taking on attributes from those people as well. So I think, this was a great month to see so many different things. And at least it was for me, and it is my show. So
that's all that matters, right?
that's all that matters. I'm just saying, I'm hoping that you guys got some too. But for real, like, I get something out of like these topics. They God plants them in me, and I get something, a revelation from everyone. So when I got, last night when I was just thinking and preparing for the show tonight, I was like, I can't do that. I can't talk about disease because we have not poured enough into disease to have an opinion of disease. We have to pour some more into these Z's, allow them to be, people say, oh, they're geeks and everything is technology, blah, blah. That is a good thing. We not in the 50s no more,
But we still need to always know how to do things,
and that's
without
what
technology.
we're here for.
But we're not going to always be here. So again, it's
Right.
one of those
So
things that we have to.
we're gonna pour the past, the positive past into the future, so they'll have a little bit of each balance. They will have a balance.
Yes.
Because we can't have an opinion about them if we're not doing our part. And I just
develop and
I
mold
said
them.
that.
Yes.
We cannot have an opinion about them if we're not doing our part. Is not getting them the new Jordans that come out, making sure they got the Oculus. That's we need more than that. We need to take time in their education, know what they know. I know for one, I am really glad that I do not have a Generation Z, because the math now, girl, bye. My kids, all of us, will be in class together. I would have to quit my job and go to
Go
school
to school so I
to
can help
learn the
you
math
that
now.
part.
So, but if you have a child in the Z's, if you have a Generation Z child, you need to learn these things. You need to be able to speak the new language. You can't just be like, wow, they didn't teach me that. And the child don't want you to teach them the wrong way if the teacher teaching a whole new way. Google is your friend.
Your best friend.
Google is your friend, parents. Google is your friend.
Yeah.
I do the easy stuff with my grandbaby. Flashcards. What's this, Journey? A, grandma. Good job. And I turn it around. A is for what, Journey? Apple. Good job, Journey. Great.
Back to the basics.
Back to the basics. I can do that. Sight words. Sounding the words out. I can do that. But hats off to y'all. But the point of the matter is, just because it's different doesn't mean it's wrong.
Agreed.
And we don't want them to feel that way. Like, we don't want them to, feel like I can't go to my mama or my auntie or my grandma or whoever and talk about what's important to me or what makes me happy, because they so stuck in the old days, as they say, in the old days. Just embrace it, embrace it. Just like parenting, you have to embrace it at every stage. You cannot love your children the same way as a teenager as you did a toddler. You can't love your adult child the same way you loved your your teenage child. You can't love your child in their 30s the way you love the child in the 20s. It changes.
Yes.
You should be graduating. You need to have a double, triple PhD by the time your child is 50 years old. You need to have like 4, 5, 6 PhDs, because they evolved just like our parents had to do with us. We evolved. We're not them.
Nothing like them.
Yeah. In my mother's 40s, she was not doing what I'm doing right now.
Not even close.
Not even close. So the times change, and we just have to open ourselves up, open ourselves up to be available, to be non-judgmental, to be loving, to be present,
open-minded
and present in whatever it is that they're dealing with. Because I would hate for someone that is listening to my voice right now didn't get involved in this conversation and didn't take this conversation heed, and they lose a child or a niece or a nephew or something like that to suicide or something, because the child didn't feel like they had anybody to turn to. So I just think that, I know I say I just think a lot, because I really do think a lot. And I think a lot of us in our adulthood, we can't express, because I can't say that I've always been able to express my emotions.
Mm-mm.
And a lot of times, I wasn't able to express my emotions because I was afraid of judgment.
Mm.
You know, I was afraid of not being loved. And that's just a whole nother package that I needed to unbox. And when I unboxed it, it opened me up to be able to love myself better and accept myself and allow other people to accept me where I am. So I
And
think that,
and not care if they don't accept you.
and not care if they don't.
Yeah.
Now, I can't say that I don't always care, because if I do love you or I have a positive emotion towards you, yeah, and I'm pretty sure 99% of the people, anybody that say they don't, they lying. But you care about what someone that you care about feels about you, especially if they feel like you done something wrong to them or something like that.
Well, yeah.
And I just think we just need to be a little bit more open and understanding and positive when it comes to our emotions. And it's okay to feel what you feel.
Mm.
It is okay. It's okay. And just like Shirley said, it's okay to stay there for a little while, but baby, you can't stay there
That's it.
long.
Yeah.
It is not a safe place. Okay? When it's no longer safe, you need to call on Jesus. You need to call on somebody, baby. Call on somebody. And
Phone a friend.
yeah, phone a friend,
Phone a
baby.
friend.
Phone home. Phone somebody. Jesus, phone somebody.
Yes.
And I know I'm thankful for my circle, because I remember when I was down back in 2016, I was down for more than 2 days. And I didn't talk to my friends for a long time.
Yeah.
But my true friends, they stayed the course. And when I was ready to open up, they was right there for me. Now, did I lose some friends? Yes, I did.
Of course.
But that opens your eyes, especially as an adult in my 40s. Who would have thought that my friends would be mad that I wouldn't talk to them about how I was feeling during a significant emotional event in my life? But
It's
again,
all about growing.
it's all about
It's all
growing.
about growing. And
Yeah.
you do
So
outgrow friends.
yeah, I don't feel no kind of way towards them, no negative way. But for my friends, those my girls, that's my circle, and they know me, I know them, they know what makes me tick. And we might not talk every day, but we can
You know
sense,
we're there. Yeah.
yeah, we can sense that, okay, I need to check in with Kecia. I need to check in with Janae. I need to check in with Shirley. I need to check in with Nia. I just need to do a check-in. I don't want none. I just
ain't
want,
heard from you.
I just want to see what you do and make sure you ain't on the run and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay to, even in relationship, you should feel okay being your authentic self.
Self,
If
exactly.
you
And if you're not, then you can best
you're
believe that that's going to be an
the
issue.
wrong person. You
Yeah,
should be
you're
okay
the
to
wrong
be your
person.
authentic self, and you shouldn't feel like you have to put on for the people. Like,
Yeah.
and don't push away someone who genuinely cares for you. And believe me, if they genuinely care, you can push all you want to.
But they ain't going nowhere.
They ain't going nowhere.
They ain't going nowhere. You're right.
They
They
ain't
ain't
going
going
nowhere.
nowhere. They be right back.
Because believe me, it's a lot of people I answer the phone for. I text back when they in my mind, I'm like, why the hell am I doing this? Why? Somebody please tell me why, because I know how this gonna end. You know what I'm saying? But I genuinely care for those people. So you call on me, I'm there. You saying hello, you all right? How you doing? I'm there. Because I'm on your mind for one reason or another.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just, and I know people say I'm so emotional. I am. I'm an emotional being, and I love everybody to a degree. And I want to be available, because I know what it feels like to carry a burden. I mean, we all got our cross to bear, and we're going to all bear our cross
No
until
matter
we
what.
go on the glory. But
Amen.
some things ain't a part of our cross. Some things are things that we put on our own back, and we just afraid to give them up, or
Yeah.
we're afraid to deal with them. And sometimes you have to have someone in your corner to say, you know what, let me take that for you, and let me
Mm.
put it
Let
down.
me hold this.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? some look, the story of Jesus, So okay, so I'm serious. The story of Jesus had to take his cross for him. So I got you. If you need for me to lighten your load, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I
Where can
got
I
you.
help you? What you need from me? What can
Yeah,
I do for you?
I got you.
Yeah.
So um to all the people listening, just take a little few minutes and just allow
Reach
yourself to feel what you feel.
out.
It's okay. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to hate your job. It's okay that your kids get on your nerves. It's okay that your husband made you mad. It's okay that your wife made you mad. It's okay. It's okay that your boyfriend made you mad. It's okay that the dog peed in the house. It's okay. I know the bills are due. It's okay. If you got to scream, scream, let it out. But I ask you, please, if you can hear the sound of my voice, please do not carry that build up in you. Please. Allow somebody to love you. Allow somebody to care for you. Allow somebody to be your safe space. It's okay. It really is. If you need to call me, if you need to text me, if you need to inbox me, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Because you may say something that's going to empower me and encourage me, just like I may say something that's going to empower you and encourage you. If not, please find a safe place. If you feel like you don't have a safe place, please find that safe place. Because I want all of us to win to the end. I don't want anybody to go prematurely, and I don't want anyone to be unhappy. God gave all of us a purpose, a plan. We're not here by accident. We're all on assignment. This is not our permanent place. And we could live a good life. And a good, wealthy life does not mean money. A good, wealthy life means happiness, joy, fruits of the Spirit. That's a good life. So thank you, Shirley, for joining me tonight at the last minute.
It was a pleasure. It
I
was,
just,
I was wondering when my turn was coming.
I know, I just needed
so
you.
quick.
I just needed you.
Hey, what are friends for? I'm there for you. Remember.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, Shirley's gonna be back. Um, Hopefully she'll be here in person when
Yes, that is definitely the goal.
we have this conversation. But
That's
got
gonna
some
be
great things coming in June, so I'm hoping she's going to come here and be a part of it in live and in color, because it does.
that show is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it does. I just think the energy is just different when we're in person. But thank you all. First of all, I want to thank God, of course, for giving me the opportunity at this platform that I love so much. I told my therapist today, I said, you know what, Donica, I love you, girl, but my therapist is really my podcast. Because at the end of the day, Donica's like, as long as I get my money. My therapist, she cares about me. I really love her. She's the bomb. Um, Thanks to my Brass Mill family, which is the bomb. Anybody out there that's in the Bell Camp, Maryland area, you looking for a suite to run your business out of, you looking for an event area, you looking to start a podcast, come to Brass Mill. Doc, she got everything you need. Trust me. If you need financial advice, if you need a financial planner, a business coach, Doc got you. All right, you in good hands here at Brass Mill. And of course, to all my fans, I really and my listeners and my followers and my subscribers, I really appreciate you guys. I am now on all podcast platforms, so you can listen to me anywhere, baby. You can even listen to me on Amazon Music.
What?
Your girl is
Did it? Okay.
y'all see Journey's grandma shirt, 40s and shorties. I'm just playing. I really am a good
What you teaching the grandma? What you
yeah,
teaching?
I know. I really am a good grandma though. I really am. I get in grandma mode when but anyway, so thank you all for participating in the Battle of the Eras. Shout out to the Millenniums for being the pivotal point of change. So, but for the month of May, listen, you guys, let me tell y'all, we're going into season 2, baby. We did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. We're going into season 2. Who going into season 2? Your girl made it into season dos. Dos. It's gonna be muy caliente.
Oh.
So yes, I'm hyped about going into season 2. I got some new things going on, some fresh ideas. Oh my God, it's gonna be so dope. But for the month of May, we are going to highlight our educators, and we're going to have some great millenniums on deck. I have a guest coming from, he's a high school teacher. I have a middle school teacher. And of course, you know, I got to have my favorite millennium, my kid, Miss Dominique, as her kids call her, which I think is so hilarious. But they're going to come on and they're going to talk about how we can help them help disease. You hear me? So we need to do our part. I'm all about doing our part. I'm all about making us better. So stay tuned for all the great and exciting episodes. I'm even going to be doing some little giveaways at every milestone. We're going to be doing something. I have made it to 100 subscribers on YouTube. Actually, I have 109. Let the record reflect. Okay. So here we go now. Here we go now. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go to my YouTube channel, hit the red subscribe button, and then before you finish, make sure you click that little bell, bing, so you can know when I post something new. You hear me? So on that note, peace and love, my good people, and always smooches.